Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I am Marianne, and you're watching Marianne's Mystic Mentions. Welcome to your Love Connection readings for the month of October, first half of the month. And for the new and returning viewers, I welcome and appreciate you greatly. And if you are new, just a very short introduction. I am an intuitive tarot card reader of about 30 plus years, as well as a compatibility astrology enthusiast, and never cease to be amazed at the accuracy and the compatibility between our various signs of the zodiac, for so many reasons. So I like to speak about that and teach some things about that. And then I pick a featured sign, of course, every single day, which the reading is predominantly for. And that featured sign starts with Aries for today, which is a beautiful start of every month because it is the first sign of the zodiac. It is a fiery, motivated, spirited, cardinal sign, which means they initiate, they're pioneers, they're strong, they're leaders, they help us to, recognize our strengths and our courage and forging forward in our lifetime. And interestingly enough, we are in the season of Libra now. And that started on the 22nd of September, along with the fall equinox. One of my absolutely favorite times of the year. It just I feel more grounded during this time. We are actually in a retrograde. That occurred on the 27th and will continue through October 18th. And that is in the sign of Libra, the season that we're in, the recognition of fall and the balance of the light versus dark as we follow through fall, the changing of the leaves and the colors that happen, the oranges and the passion that we feel, for our lives, for our health, for our well-being, our families, our relationships. Key component personality traits of Libra being that of balance and striving for balance, the symbols of scales, making sure that we are getting what's needed on either side, whether it be our health, our relationships, our family situations, our work situation. Is there the balance? Are we feeling stable and safe and secure and healthy? So that's a big predominant thing, but relationships are very, very important for Libras. And yes, romance and love and Venus ruled Libra cares greatly about that. They have huge hearts when it comes to wanting to have lasting, very caring, reciprocity type of relationships. Something they strive for. They want justice and compromise and the consideration of other person's point of views and perspectives and such. They're also an air sign, which is about the mind and about continually wanting to think and create and to once again pioneer and start new ideas and ventures for themselves, for others, for family. I mean, they are a cardinal sign, as is the Aries. So you also are polar opposites. So that means you're directly across from each other on the astrology wheel. Every sign has a polar opposite, and to me, that is usually one of the best relationships we could have for reasons such as learning for the polarity differences between them, which actually work in so many beautiful ways for them. It is about the excitement in the differences, the challenges in the differences, the balancing of the differences. And you have fire with Aries and you have the air with Libra. And it's a beautiful combination that really help to stoke and create and invigorate and support and keep active and excited and harmonious. I mean, I love this combination. And so what else can I say briefly before we go on to the actual reading portion, other than to say the full moon of Pisces is extremely healing. And so you'll be feeling that as we enter into the month of October from the 20th when it occurred. And it's definitely stoking our creative side. It's stoking the actual reality as well that Neptune is in the sign of Pisces. Neptune can be very, very I want to say cloudy. That's a word that's coming right off the bat, but I was reaching for something else. It's very, it's about fantasy. It's about intrigue. It's about not really seeing something completely for what it is. It's kind of obscured, and it's within ourselves. It's internal a lot of times. It's imagination. It's fantasy. It's dreamlike energy. Okay, so it's definitely kind of cloudy. It's not as clear and concise as Mercury, for example, the planet that happens to be in Libra, that then of course has gone into retrograde in Libra, and then we'll go forward again at the latter part of on the 18th of October, and last in Libra till the 3rd of November, a long stay of Mercury due to the retrograde. Internalizing, focusing on the importance and things in our life as we enter our solar return, you know, in the month of latter part of September through the 22nd of October. So the birthdays and the renewals and the transitions and the relationships that we want to keep and the ones we want to let go, you know, that as fall enters into then winter, leaves, the coloring and changing of the leaves is the dying away and the taking away and the releasing of energies, but ideas and you know, belief systems, perspectives, all of these enter into the changing aspect and letting go and starting fresh, you know, and then starting once again in spring. But prior to that, just allowing that to happen, to renew ourselves for the betterment, you know, and it happens every year. And it's a time of beautiful transformation for so many people, and of course for Libra and yourself, Aries, as that polar opposite, very much in tune, and that magnetism that comes with that. The 7th house is where, you know, Libra resides. So that is important to you now, and you're really putting some concentrated effort into specific relationships and what they really mean, and how far you want to take them, or, you know, commit and establish, you know, a partnership of all sorts of different, you know, possibilities. It's rich, and it's a harvest time. So I feel really good. And I happen to want to say that I'm going to pick the highlighted connection, but also that I picked a brand new deck that I bought, and I've had it a couple months, but I was a little confused on some of the interpretations. It's absolutely beautiful. It is called the Hush deck, and it combines spirituality and life form with the animal kingdom and nature. So it's so perfect for fall, and it has more mundane, darker shades and colors, which isn't something I normally gravitate towards. I too am a Libra, so my birthday solar return is approaching in October. But it's really absolutely amazingly and beautifully illustrated, and you can kind of get lost in that nebulous, that's the word I was looking for too, aspect of Neptune that's ever present. Will be in Pisces, the water sign, our imagination, our feelings, our emotions, you know, tied with our need to feel and think in a clear and, you know, concise way with the Libra. And then the beauty and the love and the Venetian quality of femininity and magic and power that we have. It's just all combined, and it's a lot, but it's absolutely beautiful. So I'll be using those, and I added a couple of my one other, you know, deck that I love. I haven't used for a couple of readings or so, at least 2 or 3. The Starseed Oracle, and then of course my beautiful Super Attractor Manifestation deck Oracle. So stick around, because right now, Aries, we're going to pick who Spirit wants you to know specifically about, information-wise, a highlighted connection. And that one for you in the first half of month of October is going to be Pisces. Isn't that something? I have notes, and I've taken notes on every single, you know, reading I've ever done, almost 2 years now. And this is absolutely beautiful. First and foremost, it's right next to you in the zodiac. So you have this kind of osmosis energy and understanding, and very different, watery emotional, psychic, intuitive, very spiritually inclined Pisces. Creativity, energy, motivation to want to just, continue but be at peace. They're a mutable sign, which means they are very open to change. There's never necessarily boundaries. They're open to so many ideas and continuing to learn and grow themselves. There's this kind of go with the flow, with the watery, compassionate, sensitive, artistic aspects of a Pisces. And then Aries, you're right there with this, let's go, let's just charge ahead. That ram is the animal you represent, and just full force ahead, and maybe spontaneously for sure, impulsively, but with great heart and great intention. And the fire and water, it can be very steamy and very, very, it's not always necessarily the easiest elements together, but I see it all the time. And I think it's because I feel a lot of people in life, Aries, exception, you like challenge. It is what motivates you. It's what keeps you wanting to thrive and to grow. And this is what I feel for the two of you. And that's exactly what happens. But with that beautiful full moon, something very, very important transpired within you or around you. Decisions, certainly, it's a powerful change that's, I believe, already taken place. It may be needing to continue until the end of the retrograde, because it's really about just realizing exactly the next step to take during retrograde times, where you rest, you review, you relax, you double check and really allow yourself to go through processes, and not to feel rushed, not to have that impulsivity that tends to be with an Aries. I have an Aries moon. I'm not trying to put any shadowy kind of energy about that. It is true. Sometimes I'm like, this is what we're doing. I just feel it so strongly. I'm fired up, But so there's a definite persuasion with the Pisces energy for the first half of October. And I mean, maybe you're with a Pisces and you know exactly what I mean. Many times I see the attraction of Aries and Pisces. It just is. It's just part of the unexplained mysteries of life, if you will. But it also makes a lot of sense, because you can really, really fill in areas with yourselves that the other person doesn't have. There's that complementary energy I always speak about. So keep that in mind about the Pisces. But if for some reason some of you watching, and there's a percentage, it's a general reading, are thinking, no, I'm not necessarily knowing that. I mean, retrogrades bring people back into your life. Maybe you knew a Pisces and didn't realize the time frame that they were born. And maybe they have a moon as opposed to a sun or a rising or a Venus that's in Pisces. But that would be the latter part of like 22nd of February through the 22nd of March. So you might be thinking twice about that. I mean, I'm just saying, or somebody's coming in, and I'd love to know. But I am going to read the 4 major categories that pertain to this highlighted connection, and as well as, all of your connections, Aries. So I do hope that you're doing well and that you're getting through everything well, and the children have been sent off to their first or second or fourth quarter of, year, I should say, of college, and all that's happened, which is always quite emotional and very transformational. I have a lot of friends who've had their children off for the first year. It's the empty nesting time, and it's necessary. It's part of the evolutionary aspects of all of us who have children, but it just happens in different phases, right? And mine has happened almost like 18 years ago, so I remember it well, though. But beautiful Aries, let us see. The first always category that I choose is the overall energy bringing you to the reading. And, you may be still feeling a lot of the feelings from your reading I provided for the second half of September. Of course, it's always a different highlighted, not always, but most of the time it's a different highlighted connection that was necessary to be brought forth for you, and the messages therein. But for you, during this retrograde, which we always get through, you have the 7 of Swords. Okay. Now this is interesting because this is where I got a little bit confused. I'm not going to lie. What a beautiful illustration. Let me show it to you right off the bat. I don't know what type of bird that is. There's a lot of birds in this deck. There is a nest. And these look to me like keys. I mean, keys to all sorts of different doors, right? All sorts of locks and, you know, opening doors, closing doors is what I'm feeling right off the bat. But if it's the swords, and this is why I was confused. And unfortunately, they don't actually have any pictures that go along in my beautiful little guidance book. And I looked online. So if I'm incorrect, I apologize. It's swords or it's wands. The Seven of Swords is when somebody's not 100% maybe truthful with themselves. You have somebody around you that's not 100% truthful with you, maybe thinking they're getting away with something, you know, but alas, that never actually happens in the end. Somehow or another, it reveals itself, and I'm telling you, the full moon effects can last through October, as far as I'm concerned, maybe longer. And it opens and it shines a light on suspicion, or, you know, that's part of the moon. It's not always everything revealed right away. You know, things are not always as they seem. Full moon more so than the new moon. But there is, I find, a bit of confusion. And, you know, 7 in numerology is a very basic way to explain it, is working through difficulties. Okay, so that's how you're coming into with this retrograde, with the, you know, changes in certainly appointments and schedules and delays. Maybe transportation issues have changed. You know, there's road work being done for the next month. I have one I can share. I have been called to jury duty, but not just for a day, for a week. So I thought, wow, that's new, and can't really work and have a major schedule. So that's an opening of a whole new different type for a retrograde, but it is in Libra, which is in my sign. So being flexible. And just letting you know that, you know, whatever is apparently a trickster, even if it's with yourself and kidding yourself about something, which is predominantly coming forth, really think about it now, okay? And do yourself the biggest favor you could possibly do, and then others around you. Don't be disloyal to yourself. Don't fool yourself, even if it has to do with emotions and feelings. And, well, if I do this, then maybe I won't have to lose this, and all the variables that we go through in our mind. And no, you've got to go with your gut, because that's the Piscean energy coming through. You have great insight and intuition. We all do. It's a gift we were born with, and it's there for us always. So I just recommend that you keep your eye out. You know, if you hear something that doesn't sound right, or if you're new to a few people in your environment, whatever that may be, work, home, you know, social life, just being aware, you know. And I think you are. I do. I think you're trusting as well, but I think you're pretty sharp. So just be aware of that, okay? And know that things will be revealed that need to be revealed if there are questions or doubts. And for heaven's sakes, and another way to put this, like, let's face it, there's so many scams happening in the world. Every time I turn around, there's some scam, and it's on my phone, and they're like, oh, you won this, or, you know, you're missing this on this, and, you know, give us a call. Or I'm not doing that. I recommend highly you don't. That's probably a predominant thing happening with the retrograde, I would say, especially. So that's all. Just being very aware, being in tune with your intuition, knowing the people around you. If there's somebody new, just be a little more cautious. That's all. And so, okay, that's the overall energy. And then the second category that follows, this is like a narrative always when it's, you know, different categories. And that's what tarot is anyway. It's a journey. I mean, then we get these insights and these information and these tips and this guidance, but we can do with it what we choose. We can go down any path we want. You know, that's the reality, and that's what's beautiful about it. And sometimes you're not even feeling this particular energy at all because of where your natal chart and how your placements are. You know, maybe you have one sign in Aries, whereas someone else might have 5. They're going to feel the energy more, right? The second category is possible blessings or obstacles. Now, let us see what it has to say for you, beautiful Aries. And the intuition of, oh, okay, so this is beautiful. It's beautiful because it's an ace. It's beautiful because it's a cup. And there's that Pisces. And it's the king or queen. There's no gender associated. But it is the king or queen of cups. Look at that. Isn't that something? There you've got another bird, and you've got the crown. I mean, there's this incredible recognition of maturity and definitely being in charge, right? Definitely being capable. And when it comes to the cups, the water, the depth and the emotions and the sensitivity that come with that, the receptiveness, the catering, the nurturing, the vulnerability that comes with water. It's beautiful. It's being mature enough to handle your emotions, whatever they may be about or with whom they may be about. And that comes with time. And I'm thinking it's about love. I mean, it may not look like it because these cards are a little ominous, I'm not going to lie, but that's what makes them beautiful, you know, and intriguing and different, certainly from my decks that I've acquired through the years. But it's really, really beautiful. It does show that we all, no matter how much we put up this front of, you know, I'm tough and I've got to be in charge, and you usually are, Aries, there's a big, beautiful part of you that just wants to love and to care and to give all that you can give. And you do that over and over again. You just express it differently than a water sign would. So there is huge influence. And I would imagine that a lot of you have water in your chart is what I'm feeling. And that's coming to the forefront. That moon will have brought that out. And it'll bring it out in beautiful ways. You know, it'll make us more in tune and more aware of our needs, you know, and things we want, and it's okay to want that and to speak about that and to pray and to, you know, create it in our thoughts every moment of every day. So it's really wonderful, and it shows that regardless of the inevitable aspect of life being, you know, yin and yang and, you know, positive energies and lower energies and higher energies and such, and that there's going to be, you know, times we're going to be around and subjected to energies that aren't great, but to protect ourselves, to feel strong and grounded in our trust and our faith in the divine intervention that's always there. And then this beautiful blessing of absolute emotional fulfillment and love is coming through. We all deserve to be loved. We are all very, very lovable. And I always remind myself of that. You know, every day. It's so beautiful. So I like that a lot for you, Aries. It's very, very synchronistic to your highlighted connection, but it could be, like I said, for all of your connections. There's love, and there's a beautiful feeling that has been growing and nurturing, and it's wonderful. And it could definitely have to do with creativity too. Maybe you're just thinking of ideas and inspirations that you would normally do anyway, but they're really taking an entirely different form, and it's becoming your reality, and it feels very special and new and transformative once again. The third category is the category of finances, and you have the 10 of Swords. Now, have no fear. I know this is actually a beautiful depiction. I love this. These are those, I don't remember the name, but I want to say they look like the plant that you take, and I used to blow and make a wish. Somebody out there knows what I'm speaking of. But the 10 of Swords is feeling like you just carry the world on your shoulders. I mean, you feel like you've given everything you possibly can. You feel like you've been stabbed in some ways, you know, somebody was, you know, trying to pull the wool over your eyes and be a trickery, or maybe try to take something from you, or some emotion or something that wasn't theirs. And I didn't say they succeeded, but the attempt can be painful as well. And you just are at a point where you're just like, I'm actually done. I'm done. I'm taking time off. Other people, I've done their job, my job. There's only one of me, and I know I can handle more than the most average person, but I'm done. And that's exactly right, because a 10 is the new cycle. It starts a new cycle, and this is indicative of what we're seeing anyway, and the energies coming through. When the retrograde stops, there's a lot of energies now entering into Scorpio. Venus, Mercury will be there shortly in the month, and then we go into the Scorpio season. This is very, very powerful. This is deep. This is transformational, ruled by Pluto. Scorpio is about, the depths of ourselves and the ability to change ourselves and reinvent and renew and, rise above again. So that every time you just think that's it. I can't speak anymore about it. I can't hear the conversations. I can't accept the things I'm not believing to be true for me. And you don't have to. And you start fresh again. And financially, things will start anew as well. And this is always happening. It's the cycles, right? When you think you're on top of the world, just know you can be there for a long time, but it's going to have a dip at some point, as well as when you're at your very lowest and you feel like, what happened? I've been putting everything I possibly can. I'm an Aries. I'm a I want this. This is important and I want to make it happen. I want it now. It will definitely start to grow up if it's been down for a long time. That's the beauty of life, and the constant is change, So hang in there. You might be hearing some amazing news that's going to really, really fill your heart and make you feel really, really satisfied and very, very content. Okay? And it doesn't have to be about money. It could be about so many different things. The wealth of whatever that is for you. So I see, and it's also the solar plexus color, which is yellow, which is, you've got the power. You've got the strength to get through anything. We all do. Even when it honestly doesn't feel like it, like we can't carry another burden. We certainly seem to be able to. And if this last year didn't show that, I don't know what does. So I end the reading with the final category of blessings or surprises. And my goodness, we've had a lot of surprises. I don't know how you are at taking surprises, but there's always going to be there's always going to be surprises. And it could be just because you have an amazing, relationship with a Libra. We're in Libra season, you're going to go to a few surprise parties. You could put that on the docket as possibilities. Good friends and family members, Libra, also just wishes that you've been keeping under your hat, if you will, and just thinking, I'm going to hold on to that with everything I am, because that is an Aries trait. You're not a quitter. And sometimes you may not want to be patient, but you are, and then you reap the benefits for it. So the surprises and wishes category for you is the 5 of Swords. Okay, so once again, here you go from the 10 to the 5, which is good. Because the 10 was just like, got to start over. I can't, that's it. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. The 5 is being able to understand and to, recognize that you're going to have some challenges when it comes to conversations. You're not going to have everybody agreeing with you. That's absolutely life, right? But you're getting to a point where you're like, okay, you don't have to agree with me. We can totally and completely agree to disagree. And that can be fine. You've had your battles, you've had your words, you've had your disagreements. You've got one sword on the ground, one in front of you. You're holding 3. You're ready for the conversations to come forward. Sometimes it has to be a little uncomfortable to reach your goals and your destinations. But with Libra season, there's going to be a lot of fairness and justice that happens with it. And it doesn't have to be a person. It could be an institution or, something medical, that's come up. I'm not a doctor. I never claim to know about health and how to, heal you, other than to say you can heal yourself a lot of times. And you know who to go to. You know what's going to be right for your body, and only you, really. And then you go about it and you speak to the right people who can have the proper, referrals, if you will. It could have to do with finances or medical, because swords being in the air, they usually tend to go into careers and that are about that, and constantly learning and growing and wanting to help and educate themselves and others. And so, yeah, the five is we're in a 5 year. It's a changing, challenging year in some ways, but challenges are what get us to our objectives. Okay. So your surprise is that even though you felt you were done, you still got it in you. Okay. And you'll be okay. You're going to be very okay. And the Mercury in Libra, even though it's retrograde, is definitely about conversations that lead to fairness and justice in the end. Okay. If it is a court case, I feel like it could very well go in your favor, but I don't think it would happen right away. I think it's going to take some time and some preparation. You might be a lawyer, and that court cases definitely get delayed and such, and I think that's a part of what could very well be happening. That might be the surprise. But the wishes are that in the end, all is well. And I believe you can make that happen. I think we all can make that happen. So you've got a mixed bag here, I will say. But what I love about it is communication is key. And be aware that with the retrograde, it's going to be a little bit blurry with the fogginess and, the aspect of retrograde, along with Pisces in Neptune, the under God, the unseen, as well as the full moon that really kind of culminated things for you, in an emotional way that was really beautiful, because you felt it was time. You felt like you needed to be more mature about it and to realize how beautiful and wonderful things really are and can be. Looking at that perspective, the Hanged Man is one of the cards that represent Pisces, going back to your highlighted connection. And it depicts a picture of a man upside down, but he has a very large glow about him, and it's just this very serene look on his face, because he's spiritually feeling extremely enlightened, and he's recognizing things now for the first time from a different perspective, upside down, and just thinking, yeah, I never saw it that way, but I feel like that would be great. That would be a way to look at it now. Just these epiphanies and these new beautiful charges of energy that are for your betterment, right? The outcome is the best for everybody involved. So I like it a lot. I think it's important. And it makes sense for the retrograde that there's going to be some little bit of confliction and conversations that I didn't mean that. I really said this, and, double check. Check those emails and check them again. Check your itinerary, check your plans. Make sure you get your car checked up, and, if you can hold off on buying a new one or any kind of technology, do so. Of course, sometimes you can't. There may be changes in it, that's all. But I appreciate what the messages are for you. And I'm going to finish with your oracle messages. And to say that I have pulled the Starseed oracle, because we are all starseeds. We are all incredible spirits, lighted spirits, glowing, beautiful spirits within this temple in this lifetime of what? Average 100 years, for, like, not everybody, but more people are becoming centurions, and even older, but it's not a long time. It really isn't. It's a blink of an eye, and I can say that as I always say, I'm reaching my fourth quadrant, the ending aspect of it. So I hold on to it and cherish every moment. But the oracles are so beautiful because they have incredible insight and wisdom to share with all of us. So I really particularly love this, and I felt this was very conducive for the Libra season and the depth of Scorpio season approaching, and all of the glorious aspects to it. So for you, the cards are just, they're breathtaking. They actually draw me in. It's a beautiful illustration. I don't know if that's a bright, bright star or just the moon shining through for you in this beautiful watery. See, there's that watery element that's really coming forth for you. Thank goodness, because you need to be empathetic and sympathetic with others but yourself, and to just cry the tears, shed the aspects that happen in fall and winter, as I said, a natural process for us during this time, while really loving and feeling incredibly blessed and yeah, I would say serene. Water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. Is it? This is what I'm talking about. Spirit's always in line. I love being the conduit for Spirit to send messages your way. And that's just a huge passion and purpose for me. I'm going to read to you what it says, though, with this beautiful card. So it should be under W. And it seems very suiting, though. It really does. Okay, so Earth is a seasonal planet, as we just enter fall. And as such, you're a seasonal being, cyclic. You can't be on and in full bloom month after month. Day after day, you're strongly being called to put on the brakes, rest and refuel. To take a moment to restock and replenish and slow down right now. And just slow right on down. Your body is the only body you're given, and it needs to be respected as such. You're being called to take responsibility for your well-being. To put your health and body first. I know it can feel like time is running out, and as if there are urgent things that simply can't wait. However, if you keep pushing, soon fatigue will set in. This way of living isn't sustainable. If anyone continues to race through life, eventually they will reach exhaustion, and it will take longer to recover than it would have done to rest. Starseed inquiry. What is your body yearning for? This is the time of year when we start to feel a little bit of an energy decline. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's going with the natural cycles. And, as I said, fall is a little less light. The energy, you're like, don't want to do as much when I don't have light out, personally. But beautiful, resting in the colors and the weather is just phenomenal, especially in the Northern Hemisphere. So this is beautiful. It's so congruent with the reading, and I'm so glad that came up for you, Aries. And as a fiery sign, you really need to be aware of this, because this is not in your nature. So hopefully you're really digging this and agreeing and saying, you're right, Marianne. Spirit is definitely talking to me right now, and I hope that's the case. So we'll finish with your beautiful Super Attractor Manifestation Oracle message, which is creating the life you want. And I know you want this, and you do it all the time. And as long as you're willing to take the time to rest and not expect it like instantly this month, maybe not till next month, and maybe December. There's some powerful, beautiful energies. There's a couple of eclipses coming, so we'll get into that in the next month or so, but those are life-changing as well. And I say for the better always, and I say it's powerful, and I think it's going to be amazing. And we'll have that beautiful retrograde out of the way until the next one in latter part of January. So yeah, let's just pull this last one. If you would like to join my channel, please push the subscribe, thumbs up, like, share, whatever you can do to support me would be phenomenal. It's free, and that'll allow me to keep coming back and doing the readings and sending the messages to you. Each time I choose to tune into Spirit, guidance of the highest truth shows up for me. Can I hear an amen up in here? Because that is absolutely true. And that is the colors that you're seeing and the vibrance, and that's your second chakra of passion and, passion, and energy and creativity. Once again, the Piscean energy of creativity that's within all of us. We're all creative in some way. And then the root chakra, the grounding, the stable, the present, the now. And the colors of fall, really. The changing of the leaves. So I love that for you. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you resonate. You can always watch your moon, rising, and Venus placements as well, because sometimes you get a better a better feel for it. There's more resonance, you know, it just depends. But I thank you so much again for being here. It means a lot. I love being here with you, and I will be here for the mid-month reading. So come on back. That's around the 15th of October. Until then, take care, rest, just take it in, take it all in, and enjoy your emotional side. Enjoy the love and the heart center that's coming through really strong. Thanks so much. Until next time. Bye for now.